If you grew up in a lower middle class family, you probably still do things that make no sense to people who didn't. You find yourself hesitating before buying something nice, turning off lights out of habit, or keeping things long past their usefulness. These aren't just random quirks, they're habits that formed out of necessity and stuck with you. For many, growing up lower middle class meant learning how to stretch every dollar, reuse whatever was possible, and always prepare for the unexpected. Even as life improves, these behaviors remain deeply ingrained, whether it's being overly cautious with money or feeling weird about throwing something away. These small actions are second nature. Now some people call it frugality, but for you, it's just life. Let's go through some of the most common habits people from lower middle class families carry into adulthood and see how many of these sound familiar. Number 1, they keep every plastic bag. Every lower middle class kitchen has a drawer or an entire cabinet full of plastic grocery bags. They're stuffed into other bags like some endless self-replicating puzzle. Why? Because you never know when you'll need them. Trash can liners, shoe protectors, lunch bags, those things are versatile. Even now, they can't bring themselves to throw a perfectly good plastic bag away. As Better Homes and Gardens suggests, reusing plastic grocery bags in various ways can enhance efficiency and reduce waste in the home. Some even go as far as folding them neatly or stuffing them into an old tissue box for easier access. It's a simple habit that grew out of necessity. For families that never had a ton of extra money to waste, plastic bags were an essential part of keeping things organized, and throwing them away seemed wasteful. Number 2, they still feel guilty. Spending money on themselves. Growing up where wants always had to make way for needs makes you second-guess every splurge. Fancy coffee, a pricey pair of shoes. They'll put it back multiple times before finally buying it. And even then, they'll feel guilty about it for days. Even when they're financially stable, spending on themselves feels indulgent, like they're doing something wrong. As The Atlantic discusses, people who are reluctant to spend, despite having substantial savings, often experience anxiety around financial decisions, influenced by past experiences of financial insecurity. The fear of overspending, which was instilled early on, lingers even when they can comfortably afford things. Buying something nice for themselves is not a regular habit. It's a special, sometimes anxiety-inducing decision. Number 3, they save leftovers, even when they probably shouldn't. Throwing food out was a sin growing up, so now they're committed to finishing every meal, even when full. Leftovers become tomorrow's lunch. If something's close to spoiling, they'll get creative and turn it into something edible. The thought of wasted food still makes their skin crawl. A fridge full of mismatched Tupperware might look chaotic to you, but it's a sign of resourcefulness to them. The psychological impact of growing up with food insecurity can lead to complex relationships with food, including behaviors aimed at coping with the uncertainty of food supply. Even when there's no real need to save food, they just can't let it go. Growing up with the mentality of use it or lose it leaves them feeling uncomfortable throwing food away, even when it's no longer fresh. Number 4, they hold on to things, just in case. Random screws, cords for electronics they don't even own anymore, and 15-year-old instruction manuals. They've got it all. Growing up in the lower middle class teaches you that replacements cost money. So you save everything, just in case. To them, it's not clutter, it's future-proofing. When you throw something out, you'll need it, and buying a new one feels like a waste. Their junk drawers may look out of control, but they're actually a treasure trove of forgotten essentials. It's a habit that takes root over time, making it difficult to get rid of things even when they're no longer useful. Letting go of something always comes with the nagging thought, I might need this later. Number 5, they panic. When someone adjusts the thermostat. Growing up, touching the thermostat without permission was a surefire way to get a lecture. Heat and AC cost money, so they learned to bundle up in the winter and grab a fan in the summer. Now, even as adults, they're hyper aware of energy bills. If you casually crank the heat up, they'll give you a look. It's not about being cheap. It's about knowing what happens when the energy bill comes in higher than expected. Even in adulthood, they continue to take extra care in controlling the temperature in their homes. Being responsible with energy consumption is deeply ingrained, even if no one else understands why they're turning off lights or lowering the thermostat a few degrees. Number 6, they still love a good hand-me-down. There's something satisfying about giving old things a new life. Growing up, Hand-me-downs were a normal part of the rotation. Clothes, furniture, toys, you name it. Now, they still get excited when someone offers them something used but good. It's not about saving money. Okay, maybe a little. It's about the principle. Why waste something perfectly fine? To them, secondhand isn't second best. It's smart. Whether it's a used book or a pair of gently worn shoes, hand-me-downs aren't a symbol of poverty. They're a way of making sure everything gets its full use. The concept of value goes far beyond the cost of the item. Number 7, they hesitate to use the nice things. The good towels, fancy dishware, or expensive skincare stay untouched, waiting for a special occasion that never really comes. Growing up, nice things were treated like treasures that were way too precious for everyday life. Now, even when they can afford replacements, they still hesitate. What if they ruin them? What if they need them later? It's a strange mix of pride and fear that leaves the good stuff sitting in perfect condition, forever. This habit runs deep, and even when they can afford to splurge, they often can't bring themselves to fully indulge. Number 8, they always check the sale section first. Full price is for other people. Growing up lower middle class meant learning how to stretch every dollar, so hitting the clearance rack or checking for coupons comes naturally to them. Even if they can afford the regular price now, they'll still hunt for a deal. It's not just about saving money. It's about feeling like they won. Finding a bargain feels like a tiny victory, a skill they mastered as kids and refused to let go of. They may have the luxury of paying full price now, but the habit of hunting for deals is ingrained. A bargain is always a win. Number 9, they turn off lights, like it's a sport. Growing up, leaving lights on was basically throwing money away. Now, flipping switches as they leave a room is second nature. They'll follow you around, turning off lamps and muttering about wasting electricity. It's not nagging, it's muscle memory. Years of hearing, "Who left this light on?" drilled it into their brain. This isn't just about saving a few dollars on an energy bill, it's about making sure nothing goes to waste. The idea of excess consumption simply feels wrong. Number 10, they treat big purchases like life decisions. Growing up, a big purchase was a big deal. Whether it was a new TV, a car, or even a decent pair of shoes, it took weeks of planning and saving. That mindset sticks even as an adult. Now, they research, read reviews, and overthink every big buy, even if they have the money. They're not indecisive, they're thorough. Spending large amounts without a plan feels reckless, and they'd rather take their time than regret it later. Number 11, they see DIY as the default option. Why hire someone when you can figure it out yourself? Growing up lower middle class meant fixing things on your own. Leaky faucets, torn clothes, wobbly chairs. Now, they'll watch YouTube tutorials or try to fix things before calling for help. DIY isn't just about saving money, it's about pride. Even when it takes a bit longer or requires extra effort, doing it yourself feels empowering. Number 12, they eat until the plate is clean. Leaving food on your plate was not an option. Wasting food was like throwing money in the trash. That lesson sticks into adulthood. Even now, they'll eat until the plate is spotless, even if they're full. Others might call it unnecessary, but to them, every meal is valuable. This habit carries with them into their adult lives. The idea of wasting food, especially when they've worked so hard to get it, is just unacceptable. Number 13, they worry about rainy days, even on sunny ones. No matter how well they're doing financially, there's always that little voice in the back of their head saying, "What if something happens?" Growing up lower middle class means understanding how quickly things can change, so they're always bracing for the unexpected. Even if everything is fine now, they plan, save, and sometimes over-prepare just in case. Number 14, they appreciate the little things. Small wins matter. Whether it's finding a good deal, fixing something themselves, or simply making it through the month, growing up lower middle class teaches you to appreciate the little victories. Number 15, they don't waste anything. If something can be used twice, it will be. Wrapping paper gets folded and saved, condiment packets go into a drawer, and worn-out t-shirts become cleaning rags. Even when they don't need to anymore, they still find comfort in not being wasteful. They don't waste food, time, or money. At the end of the day, these habits aren't just about money. They're about mindset. Growing up lower middle class teaches you to be resourceful, cautious, and always prepared for the unexpected. Some might find them strange, but for those who lived it, they just make sense. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Let us know in the comments which of these habits you still do today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.